you ask to be interviewed about your book. It's not about you, it's about your book. Your book helps your audience. It's not, I want to be on your show. It's like your audience would benefit from my book. And that's how you position yourself, and that's how you move yourself. That's how you become a household name. That's how you grow your expand your business.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of our high-level spotlight sessions. I'm your host JB, and today we're diving into a special topic here that we haven't had yet published. And I'm excited to welcome our guest Suzy. And Suzy and I have put together an episode around helping you grow your business with a less is more method. And that's with an itty bitty book. And you might be saying, what are you talking about, John? But wait until you see this episode that we've put together. The fantastic guest I have is Suzy Prudden. She's someone who's been through the journey of promoting herself in front of big crowds on TV, in person. She's been an influencer for over the past 45 years, bringing her expertise in the publishing world, as well as TV, workshops, seminars, newspapers, you name it, she's been there. You could definitely Google her yourself and learn more. And she's gonna probably get mad at me after the episode for throwing some clout out there of her accomplishments. But if you don't know who she is, then you're not gonna stick around. So I wanted to make sure you understood. So what we've put together here are three major topics. So really, what we're gonna be speaking about is tiny but mighty, right? How many of you have created a book or thought of creating a book, maybe between 200 pages to 300 pages, talking about your product? Well, we're going to be talking about something that's a lot different and the opposite, and that's keeping everything into 38 pages, into a tiny book, but a mighty source of information. And the episode's three topics is become a household name, become known for what you do, and expand your business. Without further ado, help me welcome Suzy Prudden to the show. Suzy, welcome.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, and
And
thank you.
there's a tail that's walking back and forth. My cat has decided that now is the time that she wants to sit on my desk. So
Absolutely,
I'm not going to
mom.
apologize for her. I
Mom is
just want you to know
busy.
that that's Sophie.
Mom is busy, and we must interrupt. It wouldn't be an episode without Sophie.
Like a 2-year-old.
Oh, God
As
bless.
soon as you get on the phone, they want your attention. So as
I,
soon as I got on this interview, Sophie wants attention.
absolutely, and your smile is amazing. Your energy is fantastic. I've had a chance to speak to you a couple times here, which has been refreshing. But Suzy, for those that don't quite understand what I'm talking about right now with tiny book, tiny but mighty, could you just kind of help us understand who you are, what you do, and what's kept you going?
Hey, they wind me up every morning. So my current company is called Itty Bitty Publishing. We publish small books that make a big difference. And they are small, they are tiny. But they have a phenomenal impact. And I've been in the publishing industry since 1971. I sold my first book at a cocktail party in East Hampton, Long Island. And I've done, I think, 11 books in 20 years. And I am a New York Times bestseller. And my books helped me build my business, and my business helped me sell my books. It's a dovetail. And the most important thing that you, as the listener, needs to know is that your books have legs, but not without you. And you have to market your books. I was very blessed. I had publishing companies that sent me on national tours. And so I would go out on the road for 3 or 4 weeks, anywhere from 15 to 22 cities, doing media, television, radio, newspapers, magazines, all across the country. And now it's different because you have to do it more yourself, because we don't do national tours very often anymore. The publishing industry has changed, but you can still do it. And it's important to know that you can become a household name. And I've got so many things that I could tell you, and they're all coming into my brain at once, but this is important. I used to be in the fitness industry. My books are about physical fitness and body mind technology. And last year in 2023, I was at a conference in Orlando, Florida. I live in Los Angeles. I was a participant in the conference. I was not speaking there. And I had my badge on, announcing my name. And I was early, so I went to have lunch. And as I'm coming out of the restaurant, there were four ladies sitting at a table, and one of them went, Suzy Prudden. What? You know, it was like a total surprise. And she said, I have your books. And I want to show you something. This is the book. These are the books she is referring to. This was written in 1992. This was written in 1989. This is the book that got me on the Oprah show. We're talking, I'm in the restaurant, it's 2023. I have not written a fitness book since 1992. That's how powerful a book is. If someone in a restaurant in Florida calls out your name and says, I have your books. So I want you all to realize that you can use your book to become a household name. I grew my company from one fitness studio on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, which is where I used to live, where I specialized in 2-year-olds. This is before Gymboree, before Mommy and Me. This was 1968. From a studio on the Upper West Side to 2 studios, one on the east side of Manhattan, one on the west side of Manhattan, to those 2 offices plus a summer camp in Long Island, using books and media to get me known. And it's only a phone call away.
And which, when we had a chance to speak, to go a little bit more in depth, what the conciseness, having a concise book is key, right? The 300-page book could be full of value and a wealth of information. Your books are about 30 pages, and they take
30
about,
pages.
how could you just walk through like, just open it up, like, what it kind of includes, what
So
usually people put
what's
in there
so
for 30
interesting,
pages?
what I'd like you to understand, you, the audience, I call us the new dummies. Dummies books
Okay.
are 350 pages you have to read with a yellow highlighter. Itty bitty books are the yellow highlights. So page 1, this is a book on space. I have a wonderful story about this book. Page 1 looks like this. It's a paragraph and then numbered sentences to support the paragraph. So you introduce what you want people to learn, and then you amplify it with 4, in this case, 4 sentences. Page 2 are bullet points supporting page 1. So you take a concept that could be 15 pages and you bring it into 2. As I said, it's like the Cliff Notes of Dummies. And what this does is it gives you the information immediately on what this topic is. This topic happens to be on space, and what Pam is doing now, she's negotiating a contract with the Boys and Girls Club of America to speak to all the Boys and Girls Clubs in America about space, because they're the people that are going to be traveling in space. I'm not going to be traveling in space. You might be traveling in space, I don't know, but they will be traveling in space. So she's introducing the concept of space. There are, and get this, there are 4 million kids in the Boys and Girls Club of America. The chapters are buying her books for the kids. Do the math. That's just one itty bitty book. This book was written during the pandemic when Mira couldn't take photographs, so she wrote a book on taking photographs. This book is being used now in the New York State universities as a textbook. Do the math. This
So,
channel, go ahead.
and just to build some context here, so what I'm getting out of this is that this is a teaching tool, not a memoir or a book of hundreds of pages
Yeah.
of fluff here. You're more quality over quantity.
Yes, I love that fluff. No, there's no fluff.
No fluff.
Okay.
I mean, there's no room
There's
for
no
fluff.
fluff. There's no fluff and there's no story. And we never use the word I. We don't use the word we. We don't use the word us. We don't use the word they. We only use the word you. You, the reader, need to know this. You, the reader, do it this way. You, the reader, can, when you follow through with this, the results that you want will happen. It goes directly. And what I tell all of my authors to do is to send their reader to their website where they can add fluff. But in the itty bitty book, there is no fluff. And it's a unique concept that my sister and I created in 2014 by accident. It was not, I never thought I was going to be a publisher. Never. I was a fitness expert. I was a hypnotherapist. I was a coach, speaker. And then the idea popped. This is the book that's responsible for itty bitty publishing. And I have a wonderful story about this book. I got a text, not a text, an email, maybe 4 weeks ago from a woman in Norway wanting me to be a speaker on her summit talking about health and wellness. Now, that was my business. It's not my business. I can do that. And I asked her, how did you hear of me? She said, your book. I said, which one? She said, this itty bitty. So all the marketing that I've been doing, she found me on Amazon. All the marketing that I've been doing over the years, she found me on Amazon. And now I'm speaking on her summit. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from a friend who's doing an event in Laguna at a huge event at the Laguna Woods, which I think 18,000 people there. And I said, well, what do you want me to talk about? She said, weight loss. I used to do weight loss. This book is on Amazon. And so all of a sudden I'm doing stuff that I used to do 10 years ago. And it's all because of my publishing company. And
So how
because
does somebody, you've had an amazing career that, it's obviously compounded over years. In today's new entrepreneur journey, how does somebody become a household name today? Or at least start to understand the path of becoming a household name?
you have to be visible as you can. You have to be, this is an area I'm not good at, which is Facebook, but you have to do the Facebook. You have to do all the different modalities on the internet. And you have to find ways to get speaking opportunities. And that's what I do. Then if you do a book, the media is looking for you. They're looking for you. They need stories. The news shows, for example, news shows about each segment's between 2 and 3 minutes max. So think of a 60-minute program with I don't know how many that is, 2 and 3 minute stories. They're looking for you. Stuff happens in the world and you could put your input. When I was in New York and I was doing books and I was doing television, it was so funny what would happen. The New York Times would call me up for my opinion on something. That's what you want to create, where your that was my local newspaper, but where your local newspaper or your local TV show calls you up for input so that you become the voice of your industry. I became the voice of my industry. I became a household name. I would walk down 6th Avenue and people would call out my name. I was quite heady when I
And
was.
I've seen that, like when I see an episode, podcast episode, a TV episode, my natural next step is to Google it. Who is this person?
Yep.
And when I do Google them, after speaking with you earlier, I look at it and I see they have a podcast episode, they have a book. Most of them always have some sort of book, or they're published in multiple areas that they reference.
The beauty of a book is it positions you as an expert immediately. You become the go-to person. I have a friend in Australia who has a podcast. She says when she has 2 people apply to speak on her podcast, one has a book and one doesn't. 9 times out of 10, she will choose to interview the one with the book. So, but again, you use your book to market you. As you market your book markets you. It's a dance between you and your book. You carry your book everywhere. One of my clients, literally, she carries her book everywhere. She'll sell a book standing online at, where was she? Costco. She was online at Costco. Lady next to her, they started a conversation. That's the space book. That's Pam's book. It turns out her son was interested in space. She bought Pam's book. So you carry your book everywhere. You tell people about your book. You ask to be interviewed about your book. It's not about you. It's about your book. Your book helps your audience. It's not, I want to be on your show. It's like your audience would benefit from my book. And that's how you position yourself, and that's how you move yourself. That's how you become a household name. That's how you grow your expand your business. I mean, I went from one tiny studio in New York City where I rented the studio by the hour, because I didn't have enough students. And I was interviewed by, this is a great story. And I was interviewed by a reporter from the New York Times who brought a photographer to take pictures of my kids. This is a 2-year-old and a mother-child class. This was in 1969, I think. I had 10 kids in my school. That was it. New York Times came, did an interview, and 3 weeks later, it appeared on a Thursday, the lifestyle page, 3/4 of a page, 3 pictures. That was a Thursday. The following Monday, I had 75 students. So you can't be shy.
Oof.
You have to promote yourself. If somebody else promotes you, that's wonderful. But don't wait.
Why do you think people wait? Why do you think this hesitation comes up, or this lack of belief that they could do it too? I mean, we went from the mind process of 300-page book and the long, big budget or expense to it, to now 38-page book. Why do you think somebody would hold themselves back? And is it really the book, or is it them? Right? Because in order to be, let's just get into our second topic. Become known for what you do. That's our second topic.
So here's the thing. We are brought up not to promote ourselves. This is funny. I remember, well, I think I was 6 or 7 years old, and my cousins were visiting. They lived in Delaware. They were visiting. I lived in Westchester, just outside New York. We were at my grandparents' house, and we were all playing and carrying on and having a wonderful time. And my uncle got mad. He's, "Oh, Suzy, will you stop being such a show off?" And I felt bad. Okay, bazillion years later, I'm working with a teacher, and it was a shaman, and we're doing drumming and dancing and stuff. And I open my eyes. I think I was in my 40s. I open my eyes and I see I'm the only one dancing. And I start to sit down, and my teacher said, "Don't you dare. You know you love it." Meaning I love being the center of attention. And in that moment, I realized I am a show off. So be a show off. Some people will not like you. So what? Some people will love you. Yay, team. But you're doing you. And I think a lot of people are afraid to step out into that for fear that people won't like them. Well, not everybody's going to like you anyway. I'm very polarizing. People either really like me or they really don't. And I'm okay with either, because it's not about them. It's about, who am I? If I stop doing what I do because someone else doesn't like me, then I'm robbing myself of being me. And that's what happens to people. They rob themselves of being themselves. Be who you are, show who you are. I bet every single one of you listening and watching have a special gift. Where we come with a special gift. It's about claiming that special gift and then giving it to the world. I have a lot of gifts. If I didn't do what I do and get out there, people wouldn't receive them. They would stay they would stay inside of me, and they shouldn't be inside of me. They should be out there in the world. Your gift should be out there in the world. So it's really about being so important to yourself that you let the world know.
Becoming known for what you do, it could sound a little intimidating. And sometimes somebody might wear a shirt, but what you just brought home, and for me, a bunch of mind-blown activities were happening. Show your best version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because, no, ask for forgiveness later. Obviously, be respectful, but I think becoming known for what you do is talking about it and teaching. And when we were talking offline, a lot of your clients and just people that you've coached and are surrounded by use this itty bitty book to promote their certifications, their instructions, their guides, these different elements. They give so much value in such short.
Yeah. Yeah. With an itty bitty book, you've got seminars, you've got webinars, and a lot of my clients, we work to create a certification program. It's like, what's his name? He's everywhere. It's an exercise. Um,
How,
Pilates. Pilates.
yes. Oh,
Okay.
yes.
So Pilates was a one man in New York City in the 40s. He was a dancer and he hurt his back and he created a form of exercise to heal his back. Well, people came to him and said, and they really good exercises. We should create a program, certification program, teach other people to teach what you do. And they did. That's Pilates International. One man, New York City, created a certification program. And 1940, it's like, I don't know, 80 years later, it's worldwide. Pilates is worldwide. Spas, gyms, private studios, it's worldwide. One man. So imagine if you have an idea and you do an itty bitty book, you are one person that could be international.
That's a global phenomenon. I mean,
Yes,
I mean, the Pilates is, there's no
everywhere.
gym or anywhere without Pilates.
Right. One
Hotels
man.
have Pilates. I mean,
Yep.
one person. And when you shared that with me offline, I was like, I've done Pilates once, and I'm not a Pilates kind of guy all the time, but I'm very aware of it.
Yeah, it's everywhere. And it should be because it's a good program.
Yes.
But what I want people to know is everybody's got something inside. And if you bring it out, it doesn't have, and if you hold back, it'll never get there. You have to be bold. I'll tell you another story. When I had my exercise studio in New York City, um, I don't know how they found me. Well, I had a lot of very famous people that came to my school, and Newsweek called me, and they said we would like to interview one of your celebrity clients about what you're teaching them. And I said, why do you want to interview one of my celebrity clients when I'm the one teaching them? Why don't you interview me? That was bold. And they did. And I had 3 sentences in Newsweek. I don't remember what year this was. Well, a producer from NBC saw this, called me up and said, we would like to interview one of your celebrities to do a pilot with Dr. Frank Field. And I said, why do you want to do one of my celebrities? Why don't you do me? So they came to my studio and they did. We did a half-hour pilot on NBC. And NBC didn't pick it up, but another producer watched it, called me, and said, we have a new show on Sunday mornings called The Prime of Your Life. Would you like to come and do an exercise segment? I said, sure. 3.5 years later, I'm still doing the exercise segment because I was bold. Look, one of two reactions is going to happen if you do something like that. They can say thank you, no, or thank you, yes. I always opt for the yes. When you ask for something, you give the other person the opportunity to say yes. If you don't ask, it's already no.
And that's a big part of becoming known for what you do. It's bold.
Absolutely.
Let's just biggest takeaway here is bold. Own your result, own your expertise, own your knowledge, and share the story. You can share it long form or short form. You recommending we share a short form, complement it with other marketing efforts that are out there. You be the
Yeah.
promoter of your book and let your
Yes.
book complement you and your expertise.
Yeah. It's a dance. And when you think of the numbers of people that you can help by being bold, by stepping out there, by claiming your genius. And we've all got genius in us. We wear it differently. And it's a practice. I tell you, sometimes when I'm getting on stage, I am scared. When I did the Oprah show, I was terrified. That's a big deal. And even with all the experience that I have, um, so it's really, you're never not going to be frightened. If you're waiting for that to go away, forget it. It's not going. It's a friend of mine, Susan Jeffers, wrote a book in the 80s called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Do it anyway. The worst that can happen is you fail. And then you pick yourself back up again and try again. It's not about never failing. It's about, we all fail. I've had brilliant failure stories. And it's about learning from the failure and being better the next time. And better the next time. And then better the next time, which is really about growing. And then not being afraid to say, I've done this. I've gone, when I'm at conferences, I've gone up to the producer of the conference and I say, I have a unique something or other. It's really when I do exercises in front of the room that would benefit your audience. May I do it?
So you have your punchline ready to go, and you say it all the time. So
Yeah.
it's natural. I am an expert in this. I could do this, and I love to add value to your audience. Would you mind? And that just becomes your punch flow. And
Well,
then
they
they
put
say,
me on
"Who are
stage.
you?" Yeah.
How long will it take? 3 minutes.
Oof.
3 minutes. I worked with Carolyn Mace for 6 years because I did that. I just said, this is what I can do for your audience. Give me a shot. And they did. And I worked with her. I traveled with her for 6 years doing that. It was fun. I loved it.
I think that's the big part of those are the things you need to do, whether they're comfortable or uncomfortable, to expand your business. And I mean, this is for high level users, right? So, for someone that is a high level user, maybe they're techie, maybe their sales experience is top notch, and they partner with someone techie, and maybe they're asking, how can I really use this to grow my business? Or how can I use this to help my customers grow their business?
Well,
And when
you do it, but
we were
you do
talking
both.
offline. You could do both. Yeah. And, we were talking about the authorship, and we were talking about, the streamlined process and the speed to creation, and just it's not overwhelming, but it's so powerful once it gets published. And you had just shared briefly, you don't try to be more than what you are. You're not a Facebook expert. You won't try to be a Facebook expert, but you're surely a publishing expert, and you
Yes.
leverage technology. And I want
Yes.
to pivot now
And I have
here.
to add something though.
Go for it.
I said, I'm not a Facebook expert. I have someone do my Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm not a go high level expert either. I have someone do my go high level because I know the power of it and I know that I don't know enough. So I just hand it to Pam and I say, take it. And she does. And the rest is history, so to speak.
It's important because history never goes away. When you
No.
got good history, it goes decades and decades in life and moving on. So, with expanding your business, and for high level users that are listening in, you may be asking, how do I incorporate this concept into my business? Well, definitely traditional marketing with digital marketing, and then authority and expertise all works together. We don't have enough time to go in depth on that in this episode, but Pam, could you share a little bit on how the itty bitty book of publishing that you have is your business? It's consistently coming in with new leads. You're on sales calls. We got to jump in a few minutes for you to run your business. How are you leveraging high level with the itty bitty to attract new customers? Because they could also use those same styles to attract customers from their itty bitty if they get one.
Well, we always do mailings. I mean, we're always doing mailings, we're always doing calls. I mean, I'm on Go High Level every single day. It's my schedule. It's the Bible for me. When I get on in the morning, I look and see, okay, who am I talking to today? Who am I speaking to today? Where am I going today? What, all the different everything you need for a business is in Go High Level. And then we're working now on a website and marketing to the website. I mean, everything you need is there. Everything.
The one story you shared with me, which you were, I thought we were going to be on for another 30 minutes after you got so excited about it, was when you found an old list on your computer. That was the face you
Oh,
made when you.
yes. Yes. I mean, we woke up a list that's like 15 years old and they didn't get off. And so, it's interesting because I would send out an announcement of something I was doing, and somebody that I knew literally 15 years ago signed up to do it. And I said, how did you find me again? And she said, well, you mailed me an email. That was Go High Level. It pulled everything into it. So I have lists all over the place, and they're now all in Go High Level.
And that database reactivation, that's the cool term we call it, right? But you were just like, these are people that I have here. I just need to get it out. And I
Yeah.
think that if you would have tried to figure out the terminology or the strategy, you would have never got the email out.
If it had stayed on the old program where I had it, I would never have gotten it out. But because we imported it, is that what you call it? When we moved it from the old database to Go High Level.
And it's so the complementing of digital email, hard copy. You put together webinars, seminars, events, reactivation campaigns. Thought of you and or just letting people know where you're at and what you're doing, or collaborations. It's refreshing to hear that, right, paper and digital can work together. And some people have this misconception that, traditional marketing is out the window, where it's only as much as you polish it and you take care of it is it'll preserve itself.
You've got to do all of it. You've got to do all of it. And what's interesting is now all of the information is in one place for me. I don't have to go to several different places. What was so fun, was it last year? I was going on the marketers cruise, and I sent out an email to my whole list. And the marketers cruise is a cruise that happens every January through the Caribbean. There are about 450 people there who are all doing business together. So I said, come join me on the marketers cruise. And someone that I had worked with in 2013 that I hadn't spoken to since 2013, because my list had been transferred, contacted me, said, I want to go. And now she's an itty bitty author.
Yeah. And there's so much ways to leverage all this. And, thank you for joining us. I believe, for those that are tuned in right now, there is value where you look and where you listen and where you take action. And if you're interested in learning more about, Suzy Prudden's story, what she does, or just the concept of the itty bitty book, and maybe how you can incorporate it. Maybe you're an existing author. Maybe you're looking to give another added value product to your clients. It's definitely worth exploration. Suzy, bring us home. If you could share just some words of wisdom to our audience before we leave.
Well, the word of wisdom is don't hold back. Do it all. Become a podcaster, become an author, become a speaker, do it all. I mean, you it's so available to you. And I have a gift for everybody, is that I have a gift of a 4-hour workshop. It's free to write a book, and we'll put the information. I'll give you the information, the login information, so you can sign up at no cost. I do it every few months on Zoom. And I also have a gift of, because I'm also a hypnotherapist, I've done so much. I'm 81 years old. I know.
Wow, you
It's
go.
like, really? So as a hypnotherapist, I've done 4 hypnosis processes on making more money, 4 hypnosis processes on writing a bestseller. I have a book that I'm giving every one of you, a PDF, write your book in a day. And if you want to talk to me, you can check and talk to me. And the most important thing that you, as a listener, the viewer, need to know is that what you have inside of you cannot make the difference you want to make in the world unless you bring it out. And the world is waiting for you.
You've been very generous with your time, Ms. Prudden. Thank you so much for adding value, for giving our guests that unlocking of their next level. And I appreciate you. And for those that are tuned in, we always appreciate you, your comments, your feedback, and we hope you take advantage of the gifts that Ms. Prudden shared. Till next time, we got more coming at you. Let's rock and roll. Let's do this. Suzy, I'll see you. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Bye now.